If you want to learn how to tie the lowest profile and strongest fishing knot for connecting braid to your leader material, then stick around because this video is for you. All right, today we're going to tie the perfect FG knot. So we've got 20-pound Power Pro braid, and we're going to be tying it to 30-pound Seaguard Blue Label fluorocarbon. And the first thing that we're going to do is, I like having the line on the reel, and the reel in a either vertical position or in some position where I can keep the line vertical and engaged, where I want to keep this line in tension. The way I'm going to do that is, I've got the rod either in a rod holder, which I have today, or you can have it propped up. And then I'm going to wrap the braid around my finger several times here. Very important in tying this knot, have this line in tension. So that's good. Now we're going to take fluorocarbon leader. This is 30-pound. For 30-pound, anything above, I can use another technique. This is my favorite technique because it keeps the line in tension and it gives me all my fingers to work the line. So, and I found that anything less than 30 pounds, I really need to use this technique because it's important to be able to control this leader material. Otherwise, it's too flimsy and your wraps can come undone. So if I'm tying lighter material, then I'm going to take, in fact, I'll do it right now. I'm going to take the leader and put it under my leg so that I can get tension on the leader material. It helps me control it better. Okay, so I've got that under my leg. I've got the line going through my fingers so I can make a 90-degree turn, keep it perpendicular to the line. And now we're going to tie the FG knot. So we need about 3 inches of tag end. You don't want to get too close to your pinky. You want to have be a couple inches up because it's going to work its way down as you make wraps. So we're going to go behind the braid. We've got about 3 inches of leader, and we're going to go up, over, around, and down to make that first wrap, and then under and around and up, make that second one. We're going to do it 16 times. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can see with having that tension, it helps keep the line nice and perpendicular. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. All right, now we're going to take the line off our finger. Now we've got the wraps. We've got the wraps done. Now we just need to anchor those wraps, make sure that they don't come undone. We're not tightening them down necessarily, we're just making sure that they don't go anywhere. Then we're going to cinch the knot down. Okay. So now we've got 16 wraps, we've got a couple half hitches. And now we've got to cinch this knot down. The only thing holding the FG, the lines don't cross over. The only thing holding the FG is these coils digging into the fluorocarbon leader. If they don't dig into the leader, your knot is not going to hold. I get a little slack. And this is where we have the tug FG pliers, because before, when I was tying this, you got to wrap this braid around your hand, wrap it around a pipe or a dowel rod, something like that. in order to hold it and put the amount of pressure you need to cinch this knot down properly. I would cut my hand, but that's not such a big deal. The bigger deal was I was not cinching it down enough, and what would happen is I would get the knot and it would slip. It would hold until about 40 or 50%, and then it would just slip. So we're going to go up about 18 inches. Wrap this 5 or 6 times. One more. Okay. And now I can wrap the mono around my other hand. I've got pretty good control of that. Now we're just going to cinch this down, and I'm looking for a color change. That'll indicate that this knot is cinched down properly and biting into that leader. There you go. You can see the color change all the way up the top of the knot. So it's nice and cinched down. Got no damage to the braided line. Now we're just going to trim the tag end. And we're going to finish it off. If I'm fishing this knot in the field, then what I'm going to do is I like to just finish it off with a couple half hitches. A couple half hitches. I'm going to trim this tag end. And in the field, I'm going to take 1 drop of knot scents, UV knot scents, put on that just to make sure that those half hitches don't come undone. There's no load on those, so all I need is a little glue just to make sure that they don't back off. And now you've got the perfect FG knot. Lowest profile, strongest knot you can tie from braid to leader. And now we're going to test it, see how it performs. All right, we just tied this 16 wrap FG knot to connect 20-pound Power Pro braid to 30-pound Seaguar Blue Label fluorocarbon. And we're going to see where this breaks. It broke right in the FG knot, almost 27 pounds. So, okay, so we just wanted to wrap up the FG knot tutorial and summarize what we've done. So when you're tying the FG knot, it is imperative that you have the braided line in tension. We do that by putting the rod in a vertical position, wrapping it around our pinky, and then putting that in tension. That helps us to get those tight wraps. We want to have tight wraps on that leader so that it does hold when you cinch it. If you don't get tight wraps, when you go to cinch it down, it'll slip out immediately. Then the important thing is to make sure that you do a perfect cinch, that you cinch that down, that color changes so it digs in that braided material, or the braid digs into the leader. And another note is, like, we did 20-pound braid to 30-pound fluorocarbon, and we use 16 wraps. If you go really heavier on the leader material, then you might go down to 12 wraps. If you go down to 10-pound leader or 8-pound leader or even 6-pound leader, you may have to go up to 24 wraps, maybe even 30 wraps on really small leader material, because it needs more surface area to dig into and hold. Otherwise, you'll have a tendency for that knot to slip out. That's the biggest error some people make, is they think it's 16 wraps for every every combination, and that's not the case. You need to vary the wraps based on the size, mainly on the size of the leader, not as much on the size of the braid, but also wanted to cover the performance. So after we tied the knot, we put it in the test bench, and you saw that. So it tested out right at about 27 pounds. You know, the braid was 20-pound rated braid, and that would equal about 135% knot strength. We obviously know that's not possible. So when we correct for the fact that that 20-pound braid, when you test it out in a straight line pull, we tested it, averaged out about 31 pounds breaking strength. So if you correct for that, that 27 pounds versus 31 pounds comes out to about 87% knot strength of the actual breaking strength of the line, which is still exceptional. If you think about it for the rating, it's extremely exceptional, 135%. So basically, if I'm tying an FG knot, that's the last place I'm expecting a failure to happen. Most of the time, it's going to fail somewhere else in a knot to a swivel and a knot to the hook. So it's an extremely strong knot, lowest profile. Don't have to worry about it hitting the guide. It's going to help you cast, but also it is extremely strong, and it actually performs better under stress and in shock situations than other knots. Thanks for joining us on this tutorial on how to tie the perfect FG knot. If you found it beneficial, then be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram at Tug Fishing Gear and also on Facebook. We look forward to hearing from you. Tight lines.